Welcome to Georgetown Entrepalooza 2023. We have tonight a festival of entrepreneurship here for Georgetown. My name is Jeff Reed. I'm the founding director of our Georgetown Entrepreneurship Initiative. Awesome to have such a great group of people here tonight. We got a bunch of students who are going to pitch some business ideas they have. We're going to have a lot of our student organizations and you're going to learn a lot about how to get involved in entrepreneurship programs at Georgetown. We're going to have a fun reception a little bit later, and we're going to kick off with an amazing keynote speaker. Does that sound like a fun night? All right. So with that, I get to introduce our keynote speaker, who's gonna really set the tone for the night. Our keynote speaker is Darius Baxter. He is a Georgetown graduate of the college. I think it was 2015, somewhere around there. And Darius grew up here in DC. He came to Georgetown. He played football here. And while he was here, he and a couple of his teammates and classmates decided that they wanted to give back to the communities they came from. They started an organization called Good Projects, also Good Partners, and they were doing good things. And they still do good things here in the DC community. And Darius will tell you more about his own story. I can tell you that what he is doing and his organization is epitomizing what we at Georgetown believe entrepreneurship can do. We think entrepreneurship is one of the world's most powerful forces for good, right? You can use entrepreneurship to help the world in a lot of amazing ways. And Darius is doing that. When he was a student, he got deeply involved in our pitch competitions, worked with our entrepreneurs in residence, went through our summer launch incubator program. As an alum, he was one of the very first members of our Georgetown Venture Lab, and is really taken advantage of, but also given back a tremendous amount to our community. And so with that, I'm going to let you hear a great Georgetown entrepreneur story. Darius Baxter, co-founder of Good Projects. While Darius is walking down, giving his what do we call this? Your like carpet walk here. All right. I'll let it go. Over to you, Darius. Thanks, man.
Thank you. What's up, everybody? Oh, thank y'all. They made slides. I feel special. How y'all doing this afternoon? It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was running a little bit late because I didn't realize it was actually homecoming weekend. That's crazy to think about. So I officially feel old. I think I'm almost at my 10-year like homecoming or something like that. These are undergrads, right, Jeff? This is a mix of undergrad and grad. All right, what's up, y'all? Is the small mic is just here for show? All right. It's weird, you know. It just was in my face, just there. I just want to move it a little to the side. Hey, everybody. My name is Darius Baxter. To Jeff's point, I think I graduated somewhere around 2015. My grandmother has my diploma. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I'm pretty sure that's the date on it. I graduated from the college. Do we have anybody from the college in the house? Ooh. All right. Do we have anybody from the business school? All right. We don't care. All right. Here we go. So I am here tonight to inspire the youths. I'm so excited. And I want to thank all of you all for bringing yourselves here today. I know it's getting a little nippier outside, so I'm honored that y'all blessed us with your presence here in this auditorium. Thank you to all the distinguished guests and my fellow change makers in the room. It's been an absolute honor to consider myself a Georgetown graduate and to stand before you all to share my journey around entrepreneurship today. More importantly, everything that it's taken to become a change maker in my community. You know, today, as we start off this, what is it, the 2020, what year are we in, 2023? Okay, as we start off 2023 school year, I'm excited because it gives me an opportunity to tell you all my story, but then also give you guys some really cool updates about what we've been working on in Good Projects, with the hopes of not only inspiring you, but also motivating you to get more involved, not just in the campus here, but more importantly, all of the different things that are available to you as entrepreneurs here at Georgetown. And with these things together, we can just continue to make the world a better place. My journey began in the heart of Washington, D.C., I promise you it didn't look like the hilltop here. I grew up in a different hill, Hillcrest. That's over on the southeast side. And it provided a stark contrast from the opportunities that exist here at the hilltop in Georgetown. But growing up, I witnessed the potential and aspirations of young people in my community, but also saw the immense challenges that they faced, and both in their lives and in my own. And this duality of hope and hardship ignited a fire within me, a desire to be a part of the solution that each and every one of us have an opportunity to participate in, to empower those who need it the most in our community. Years ago, I, along with my incredible co-founders, Troy Bullock and Danny Wright, they weren't able to join me today. They are probably jet setting somewhere out in the world. Haven't seen them since the pandemic started, but hopefully they'll be back soon. Together, we embarked on a mission to turn our passions for change into tangible impact. And this mission gave birth to good projects. And together, we believed in the power of mentorship, education, and community to uplift at-risk youth and creating lasting change. Again, lasting change. It was a big thing for us not to just create some like popcorn idea that was going to go in, run a big marketing campaign, maybe we'll get a few Instagram followers, but to be able to create something that was lasting. And little did we know that our small idea in our junky living room over on Prospect Street with beer stains in the floor, that small idea that we came up with, that we had put on a whiteboard, would turn into something that would be this wave of good. That also would get me on the Forbes list. Wow, never saw that coming when I got honorable mention at the pitch competition, Jeff. See how that turned around. Today, I'm proud to share with you all some incredible updates about good projects. Our journey has been nothing but short of remarkable. We've witnessed the transformation of countless young lives, watched them rise above adversity and achieve their dreams. Our youth have become beacons of hope, guiding and inspiring the next generation to reach their full potential. But one of the most significant milestones was actually our anniversary party that happened last Thursday. This was the first year that I got to stand on a table, and I was really excited about that as we celebrated 8 years of doing good. But that's just one small example of what we've been able to do over the years, and really gathering supporters, volunteers, and youth from our community, bringing them together to serve and do positive things in their community. And what we've been able to do outside of this university is really why I'm here today. It's a call to action to inspire you all as you think about your entrepreneurial journeys, to just take a small look at what it means to dedicate your life to serving others. But today is not just about celebrating the successes of good projects. It's about sharing a vision for the future and extending an invitation to all of you. As you start this school year, I encourage you to explore Georgetown's many entrepreneurial offerings, because there are several, many of which that I had an opportunity to take advantage of while I was here on campus. I encourage you all to explore this because this is a place where innovative ideas are born, where the spirit of entrepreneurship thrives, and where you have the opportunity to turn your dreams into reality. Because I promise you, if I could do it, you can too. And I'm not just saying that to be cliche. All right, so how can you join us in this mission and get involved in Georgetown's entrepreneurial ecosystem? First, believe in the power of mentorship. No matter how young you are or how old you are never too young to teach, and you're never too old to learn, right? We all should, in our lives, whether you're teaching the entrepreneurial class or this is your first day learning about the Georgetown Entrepreneur Initiative, we all should seek mentorship. Because if we do that, we truly can live out the belief that mentorship is the cornerstone of entrepreneurship. It's a two-way street where knowledge and inspiration flow in both directions. Second, explore the resources and programs that Georgetown University offers for budding entrepreneurs. Whether it's incubators, whether it's pitch competition like this, whether it's networking events, there are numerous ways to get involved and nurture your entrepreneurial spirit here on the hilltop. Third, don't underestimate the power of collaboration. And I don't mean on a Google Doc. I mean, entrepreneurship is often a team sport. Partner with fellow students, partner with faculty, partner with alumni who share your passion for change and innovation. And last, but certainly not least, be an example of positive change. Inspire others with your actions, and together, we can create a ripple effect of transformation that reaches far beyond this campus. In conclusion, my journey to entrepreneurship and becoming a change maker in my community has been a testament to the power of belief in action. Good Projects has been a vessel for change, and Georgetown University can be your platform for entrepreneurial success. So many people have come before you all, and I'm not talking about 20, 30, 40 years ago. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. People that have walked this campus the same time you have gone off to do amazing things in entrepreneurship. I invite you to join us in this incredible journey, and let's continue to empower one another. Let's foster hope and build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Together, we can turn dreams into reality, and together, we can make the world a better place. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And thank you for your commitment to positive change, because together, we are all good projects. And together, we can change the world. Together, with Georgetown University's vibrant entrepreneurship community, we can shape a brighter future. And dare I say, we can make a couple dollars while we do it. Let this new school year be the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, and one that will not only transform your life, but also the lives of those around you. Thank you. My name is Darius Baxter, and I am out.
So thanks, Darius, so much for that. I'll never forget when Darius was a student, he and his two co-founders, as he mentioned, they came from parts of DC that are a little different than our nice neighborhood here. And they had opportunities like Georgetown graduates do to go off to high-paying jobs, careers, but they said, we want to give back to the community we came from. They basically said, all three of them, they said, hey, we came from a place where Georgetown was, amazing. It's something different. And everybody else we know that went off to college never came back. And so they said, we're going to come back and we're going to make a difference. And that's what he's been doing. So they've been youth education, camps, holistic food, lots of different programs to help the communities they came from. So that's what Good Projects is all about. It really embodies what we believe here, this idea of entrepreneurship for the common good. And good is the key word. Awesome. So thanks, Darius. Hopefully that's a good kickoff for everybody here. I am now going to turn things over to our amazing student MC, who's going to lead you through our pitch competition. Before I do that, I want to give just a quick shout out and thanks to our judges here. We're going to have a chance to introduce you in more detail in a couple of minutes, specifically to Howard and Ellen Eisenberg, who are supporting a special prize for first-generation college students as part of tonight's event. So thank you guys for your sponsorship. Thank all of you for being here as judges. So with that, I'm now going to turn it over to junior MSB student leader. He's chair of our Student Entrepreneurship Advisory Council and one of our student associates for Georgetown Entrepreneurship, an early participant in our inaugural Georgetown Global Intern Summer Program last year. He's not quite as tall as me, but he thinks he's tall, and he's just an amazing student leader. With that, Will Hansen.
All right, thank you, Jeff, for the intro. I'm William. I'm a junior in the MSB studying finance and management, minoring in entrepreneurship, and I'll be your MC tonight. But first, I'd like to hand it off to the judges and ask Jen, maybe if you want to kick us off with some intros.
Nice to see you all tonight. My name is Jen Dalton. I'm a double Hoya, and in fact, my first year as an exec MBA, Jeff Reed kicked off our entrepreneurship program and launched me into the world of entrepreneurship. I have my own company, Brad Beer, and I do personal branding for entrepreneurs and executives. So thrilled to be here.
And then just whoever wants to go, open mic.
Next. I'm Howard Eisenberg. I'm an entrepreneur in residence here for the last 5 years. This is one of my favorite events here at Rocket Pitch to see your ideas flourish. Love helping students take their ideas through fruition and growth, and glad to be here tonight.
Hi, I'm Tianxi. I pitched here maybe 2-3 years ago as an entrepreneur, and now I'm an investor at Industry Ventures, and I'm always interested in student entrepreneurs and founders.
Ken, is that
What's
funny?
your last name?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ken, did my first post back here and along with the graduate school. I teach here, EIR, and do research as well. Run some companies, which you're welcome to look up if you want. Just really excited to see these because I've seen a bunch of them during the first preview.
Hi, Ellen Eisenberg. Done some teaching, EIR, some mentorship. Howard and I are co-founders of Automation Equipment, and our time now is spent helping other young entrepreneurs. So we're super excited to be here and see the journey that you're all taking.
All right, what a panel. Welcome, judges, and thank you so much for giving your time tonight in support of entrepreneurship education at Georgetown. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the judges that provided feedback to the 40+ teams that competed in the preliminary round of the competition. Special thanks to Marcus Williams, Joshua Schwartz, Christina Kang, Laura Fredericks, Liz Tenetti, Karima Ladhani, and Dave Goldberg. Now let's talk rules. We have 10 ventures pitching. Each venture will have 2 minutes to deliver their pitch, followed by 2 minutes of Q&A with the judges. Then judges will submit their scores and feedback for sharing with teams later. Also, I'll be letting you know about some exciting entrepreneurial opportunities we have coming up this semester during our commercial breaks. There are 5 prizes tonight. First, our grand prize of $1,500, a second prize of $750, the $500 People's Choice Award, which all of you and those tuning in at home will have a chance to vote for at the end of tonight, a $1,000 entrepreneur for the Common Good Prize, and the $1,000 Eisenberg Family Prize for first generation student entrepreneurs. Teams will be judged on the following criteria: the feasibility of their venture, their perceived strength of their team, how well their pitch incorporates Georgetown's Jesuit values, and the judge's overall assessment of the ideas and presentation. Now, without further ado, let the pitches begin. First up, we have campaign crafters.
Social media for political campaigns is rather simple. You take photos of the candidate talking to constituents, you share a few policy graphics, and you share some news stories. Yet somehow, the vast majority of political candidates get this very wrong. Their social medias either have no posts, or they're riddled with blurry pictures, inconsistent messaging, and very sparse content. You see, running in a local election takes a lot of time, and you don't have a lot of time to learn how to use social media, never mind learn the complexities of graphic design. That's where Campaign Crafters comes in. For a fee of $300 per month, we manage social media for local level political campaigns. We take on their Facebook, their Twitter, and their Instagram. We talk to voters over there, and we bring traffic to the website, and we bring volunteers. I've been working on campaigns for about 5 years now, and I've learned a very sad thing. The people don't even know that local elections are happening. Because national political bigwigs fill our social media feeds, this drowns out the actual important races that happen at a local level. Campaign Crafters connects the people back to the candidates so they can get the ideas directly from them and they can get re-engaged in the democratic process. There are 2 reasons why this business model works. First, because social media for campaigns is rather easy to run. We make schedules for posts, we make templates for their endorsements and their news stories, and then we're ready to post in minutes when the campaigns send us their information. And second, because campaigns are willing to pay a couple $100s a month to take social media off their hands. You see, in the most recent Virginia state senate elections, each candidate raised about $100,000 per race. A couple $100s a month is nothing when you consider that 60% of people visit social media daily, 60% of voters, that is. I'm currently working with 2 candidates. One is a state senate candidate and one is a board of supervisors candidate, both in Virginia. And I have no doubt about our ability to get a slate of candidates for the 2024 election cycle. So where does the money come in? We have no problem getting people to want to have our services. The problem is really fulfilling the demand for them. So the Leadership Institute, which is a training organization in DC, has agreed to train each of our social media managers and each of our graphic designers for about $100 per person. So the money would go a long way in building our team, letting us take on more campaigns, and getting more people involved in the democratic process. Thank you.
All right, and now we'll have 2 minutes Q&A from the judges.
Ready?
Elections are pretty cyclical. Like, what does the non-on cycle revenue generation look like?
Certainly, while our bandwidth is only for a few campaigns right now, and even when we take on a few more people to work on our campaigns, there's a limit to how many campaigns we can take on. There are always special elections going on, regardless of the time of year, so we anticipate taking that on. But we're also working right now with the Arlington GOP. I accepted a job to be their communications manager in the off year, so that's from November to March, and then that's when primary season starts in March again. So no problem taking on work, either special elections or being communications directors for local level Republican parties.
Can you talk a little bit about how the company represents Jesuit values?
Yeah, certainly. So it was about the half a minute in. The point that I'm making is that largely we've gotten so far away from focusing on local elections that actually matter, because everyone focuses on the sensational stuff that happens at a national level. So it's a lot more interesting to focus on a national level race as opposed to a local level race. And what we're really trying to do is make it more possible for people to run for office and get their message out there and really make positive change for the world through being in office, which isn't really a possibility as we shift away from TV and radio and as we move toward more social media based things. So this is really letting anybody make a difference in political office.
Can you talk a little about your team?
Yeah, of course. Team's right here. It's me. My experience is largely in politics. So I'm an MSB over here, but the passion has always been there. So a few years, both working and being a volunteer for political campaigns, all local level, at state senate, that's been Board of Education, all that. And I've developed a pretty solid experience in this. When I came down here in Virginia to intern over the summer, I was able to work on a few Virginia elections, and I got to meet a lot of people. I know a lot of campaign managers and a lot of like chairmen of local parties. So I'm confident that with my connections and my experience, I'll be able to get a solid amount of traction for the business, and I'll have the knowledge and backing in order to make this succeed.
If people are originally uninterested in politics, how do you engage them?
A lot of it is about making it accessible. So right now, somebody who's interested in politics won't go out of their way to look for it, but it's very easy to go and follow an account. So that's why this is so significant, because you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook anyway. And if you're going to have things come up in your social media feed that show you, vote for this person, this is how it's so significant, this is what they're going to bring to the world, you're more inclined to go and vote. Voting is not a challenging thing to do. You take a few hours and you go and do that. And what we're doing is we're allowing people to really engage in that process, because this becomes a part of their daily lives. They can see the campaigns, they can see the people who are making change right in front of them.
Thank you, campaign crafters. Now, time to kick off our commercials. First off, ready to kickstart your career? Spend your semester interning part-time for a startup or high-growth company through Georgetown Startup Interns. When you're not at work, you'll be attending asynchronous, in-depth skills workshops taught by outstanding entrepreneurs and inspirational guest speakers. If you're looking for summer internships, check out GSI Global. GSI Global matches high-quality students with startups around the world for unique international internships and cultural experiences. This summer, students will be going back to Mexico City. I was an intern at GSI Global last summer, like Jeff mentioned, and I had a great time, so definitely recommend. If you're looking for an internship or full-time job, also check out the Georgetown Entrepreneurship Startup Career Fair on November 15th. This will be on Zoom, 5 to 7 p.m. And the Startup Career Fair will bring some of the most innovative startups and high-growth companies together to offer Hoya's exciting career opportunities for internships, full-time jobs, and more in our startup ecosystem. Next up on pitches, we have Cultivate.
You know what really grinds my gears? Legacy agricultural solutions. The problem is that the centers of food production are thousands of miles away from the centers of demand that they cater to. This leads to pollution, single-use plastics, and spoilage at every step along the way. Supply lines lead to 60% of all food waste and 40% from highly perishable fruits and vegetables. There is a better way. I'm Monty Singer, and I'm the founder of Cultivate. At Cultivate, we take college campus food waste and transform it into organic mushrooms, which we sell to campus universities for the students to enjoy. Using our student-run modular mushroom farms, campuses reduce waste, produce their own food, and educate students about regenerative agriculture. At Cultivate, we turn trash to treasure and waste to taste, one mushroom at a time. What's really cool is that with just one 400 square foot facility, we can produce upwards of 150 pounds of mushrooms per week. So it sounds like a cool idea, but what have we done? We've established our first growing facility. We have partners with the Corp, Hoya Hospitality, and the Earth Commons. And in 3 weeks, I will have Georgetown's first armful of blue oyster mushrooms grown on Corp coffee grounds. Pretty cool. But why am I doing this? I am fascinated by mushrooms. I am studying business and biology, have been growing mushrooms since I was 16, and really believe that mushrooms are the future of sustainability. But we need your help here today. We are looking for mentorship and seed/spore capital to help us grow our first fully scaled facility here at Georgetown. The cool thing is that by helping us, you can watch your money grow and watch the investment manifest. You can walk by our mushroom farms, you can taste our product, and you can hear students that are excited about mushrooms and regenerative agriculture. I have a vision to scale this to multiple universities, and we'll love your help. Thank you.
Time's up, Cultivate. Thank you very much. Now over to the judges for some Q&A.
Hello. When you say organic waste, what's included in that?
So currently, Sorry. So basically, currently we're using mushrooms. Coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are used for around 30 seconds and then landfilled. And so basically, we take how it works is we basically inoculate it with grain spawn from organic mushrooms, and then basically it doesn't need pesticides, it doesn't need fertilizer because mushrooms actually fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. And so it's a very clean process as opposed to typical mushroom production or just general agricultural production, which involves a lot of pesticides, herbicides, and other chemicals. So it's pretty clean.
Sorry, follow-up question. How much coffee waste is it? How much of a proportion of whole food waste is the coffee grounds waste?
Coffee grounds are just more of a angle for campus, like college campuses, because we drink a lot of coffee, and it's being landfilled. So, and it also, when you landfill it, it's very acidic, and so it's bad for the soil. But after you introduce mushrooms, it turns into great compost. And so that's where we're working with Earth Commons and trying to really be a full cycle thing, taking this waste, creating mushrooms, and then returning it to the soil.
For your scaling concept, do you see putting a mushroom farm on every campus?
Yeah, so basically that's our hope. The idea is that shipping crates and everything about this process is a very modular thing. So basically, we employ students at Georgetown, give students opportunities, ship these crates, and really share. Because also what's really cool is Hoya Hospitality wants to have 20% of all their inputs locally sourced. And I think this is a great trend that's going to be shared across a lot of other universities. So they have a demand for this. They just don't have a supply that's student run, locally sourced, and great for everyone involved. So yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you, Cultivate. Apply to Georgetown's venture capital investment competition team. Global VCIC is the world's largest venture capital competition with over 120 university and graduate school teams competing. VCIC is the only place where students get to be VCs for the day and startups get an accelerator for the fundraising process. Also, come out to Georgetown's Venture in the Capital Summit, Georgetown's second annual student-led conference exploring the intersection of venture capital, entrepreneurship, and policy. Meet with and learn from distinguished Georgetown alumni and industry experts as they share their invaluable insights and experiences with the Georgetown community. This event is open to all members of the Georgetown community, and it will be held on January 26th. Next up, we have Discover.
Hey everyone, I'm Aiden. I'm the co-founder of Discover, and we're about to transform how 25 million youth think about the most intimidating playing field in the country, politics. Growing up as a child of immigrants, navigating the US political system was never easy. I was so interested in topics like immigration and affordable housing, yet I had no clue how to get involved or where to learn more. After conducting dozens of surveys and interviews, we validated that this situation wasn't unique to me. According to UVA and Tufts, 80% of youth want to engage more in politics, yet 60% don't feel qualified to participate. That's a market size of at least 25 million youth. That's why we created Discover, a social media-inspired education technology app with two main functionalities. First, every day we'll ask users accessible, digestible, and politically related questions, and users can't see other answers unless they themselves have submitted one. With just a few minutes of engagement a day, users can gain a far more in-depth understanding of topics than if they just randomly read articles. Secondly, using data from our daily question answers and also app interactions, we've constructed a machine learning model to match user interests with specific bills that we know they'll care about. That's what makes Discover the first of its kind. Unlike other social media apps, we're not going to just show what's most trending. Instead, we've just constructed a personalized legislative update for our users. Unlike other political tech apps, we're not just going to make politics more accessible. We're going to educate our users to make sure that they understand how to engage with politics and feel more qualified in doing so. So there are also many endless opportunities for monetized partnership. So we've talked to organizations like A Long Talk, Headcount, and West End Strategy Group, and they have verified interest in partnering through daily question sponsorships, as well as through the selling of aggregate data and monetization that way in order to better understand the youth and how to appeal to them. So and our beta test will begin next week over the course of 6 weeks, and we're going to have a full release slated for November 15th. So in the end, thank you for your interest in Discover and for breaking the bubble of American politics.
Over to the judges now for some Q&A. Thank you.
Can you share how you source content?
Yeah, so users will post their own content through the app. Every day there'll be a daily question. This is just a sample question, and then users can answer the daily question and it'll pop up on this UI on the Explore page.
I guess my question is more, how are you sourcing content that's curated and truthful? Or
Oh yeah, so there's a couple of ways we're doing this. First, we have a robust content moderation policy that's in line with Apple's guidelines that includes community reporting and moderators that are on call ready to answer any questions and any reports that may come in. Secondly, we're generating sort of a culture of deliberation rather than debate through this app through the types of questions that we answer. In addition to agree, disagree questions, we'll have more like conflict resolution questions that focus more on how can you solve a problem, but rather than how can you debate it.
Can you talk about your team?
Yeah, so our team is made up of 9 people across 4 different campuses. So that's Yale University, where a lot of our development's happening, and Cornell, as well as 3 Georgetown students and 1 NYU student. And so we've been all very passionate about this issue, but we come from very different backgrounds and various levels of how much we care about politics. And that's why we came together to build this.
Do you have a proprietary algorithm?
What do you mean by proprietary?
You said that you would give users like information that is curated to them. Do you have an algorithm for that?
Yes, we do. So our algorithm takes data that we collect from how long you answer questions, for example, what you click on, what are the interests of the people you click on. And from there, we can determine what your interests are and then recommend you content as well as recommend you bills that we know you'll be interested in.
how do you make money?
Yeah, so our monetization model, it consists of 3 ways. First is just general ad revenue. Second is daily question sponsorship. So interest organizations can come to our app and wanting to raise awareness around certain issues can ask questions. And thirdly, we're going to have a transparent data practice where we only sell aggregate anonymized data to polling organizations to support their research.
Thank you to Scubble. Want to stay up to date on Georgetown entrepreneurship news? Join the newsletter. I might be biased since I write it, but I think it's pretty good. All you have to do is go to eship.georgetown.edu, click on the news tab, and then type in your email and you're set. Also, if you want to download our calendar to stay up to date on events, you can go on over to the events tab, scroll to the bottom of the calendar, and subscribe to get it on your Google Calendar. You can click the QR code to learn. Yep, but highly recommend that. Next up, we have post-op drop.
I think it works. Starting.
All right, my name's Nathan,
And I'm Marcus. We are medical students from Georgetown.
and our pitch is a post-op drop. So this is a problem that Marcus and I encountered while on rotations, wherein patients, especially those from disadvantaged backgrounds, lack transportation home. And for that reason, their surgical procedures were actually canceled. So this is not only a problem that affects patients, but also one that affects hospitals because these cancellations of surgical procedures actually have a huge impact on hospital costs. This isn't something that can just be taken care of by Ubers or Lyfts because they can't guarantee safety and hospitals can't assume that liability.
So the beauty of post-op drop is we have a tri-pronged approach to kind of meet this problem we have. The first is we offer a quality transportation service. The second is that it actually accounts for medical device delivery, which frequently accompanies post-operative care. And it also ensures drop-off location safety and patient stabilization. As my partner here said, it's not only a benefit to patients in increasing safety and increasing their overall care, but it's a major asset and benefit to hospital care networks because they can also increase efficiency and OR turnover time, but also they boost the patient experience, which is ultimately very important in hospital business.
So yeah, our system works in two ways. The business model involves a subscription from the hospital to access our platform so that they can ensure this standardized quality transportation service. And then patients would be paying per ride post surgery. This would be covered by insurance, though, as a hospital course related cost.
So the work we've done so far in terms of traction and ask, we've done a lot of research in understanding the expansion of patient transport roles by hospital employees and also the patient care services employees at the hospitals we've been in contact with. We've talked to people in terms of app development and actually providing a technological interface for patients to utilize and actually use this program pretty seamlessly. We're really looking for funding in order to expand our app development and also increase our local partnerships and also strengthen our networks with healthcare centers that we're working with.
The transportation is included as a benefit for many insurances, particularly those serving underserved populations. And it's the primary driver of covering for transportation services. And they don't typically cover things that are outside of their own contracts. Why are you contracting directly with the hospitals? Because it feels like it would cause a complication with the insurance.
I think it's a really great question. I think the reason we actually see a value of partnering with our hospitals is twofold. One, we see direct interface with hospital employees, including case managers and others that take over the responsibility of managing a lot of aspects of patient care. I think another benefit to hospital networks that we'd be in subscription with is they'd have direct overseeing of how fast we can get our rooms turned over, and they have a lot of access to logistics that can really be beneficial in improving patient transportation post-op.
How hard do you anticipate it'll be to find qualified drivers, and what are you going to do to vet them to make sure that you're providing a good experience for the patient?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we're doing that's unique here, that's unlike rideshare apps, is that we're actually trying to expand the role of patient transport employees that are already in the hospital. So they're often reliable for moving patients like throughout the hospital into emergency vehicles and out of emergency vehicles. So we are planning on just providing training for them through the hospital so that they can just expand their role.
Aren't hospitals and nurses already overworked?
Right. Yeah, no, we're not. Look, we're not trying to give any hospital care provider any extra work. I think one of the things that we can actually counter that question with is a lot of the burden from a hospital employee standpoint comes from the logistics and the bureaucracy of the entire process. Believe it or not, one of the things we both realize while rotating on these services is that there's a lot more to medicine than what you learn in medical school in terms of business logistics and care for the entire patient. So I think this actually overall will alleviate a lot of the unnecessary strain that falls upon healthcare providers in managing issues that come along with, delays to operative time and not being able for patients to be able to, schedule their rides home.
How much would a single ride cost insurance, and how much do you anticipate it costing insurance over the course of a year for hospital?
So this is a great question. The research we've identified, we've set so far we found a small degree of local operating networks which are responsible for patient transport now. Rides can estimate from about $50 to about $100 depending on the service, but they also have an additional surcharge based on the mile or additional equipment that's going to be transported. We are looking to set at a similar price point. Obviously, we can't match something like Uber or Lyft or a rideshare platform because we require additional training in order to transport medical devices and also for proper patient stabilization. But we're thinking around that price point now.
All right, thank you. Next up. Are you an alumni entrepreneur who wants to get involved with Georgetown entrepreneurship? The Georgetown Venture Lab is a dedicated workspace for full-time alumni entrepreneurs to launch and grow their businesses with support of the Georgetown entrepreneurship ecosystem. Also, are you an alumni interested in investing in Hoya startups? Launched in early 2019, Georgetown Angel Investor Network GAIN already champions an active alumni investor group and robust deal flow. They are regularly seeking new investors, budding startups, and passionate volunteers. Their priority is to support the Georgetown startup ecosystem with an angel investing platform that engages and leverages the power of the diverse and global Georgetown alumni community. All right, next up we have Preserved Petals.
And I've been in the dried flower industry for 13 years now. I'm just gonna hand this to you guys really quick. This is the product. If you guys want to open it, pass it around. Okay, so over the first 10 years, I worked in the industry. We were constantly getting people coming in asking us to preserve their flowers, which is not a service that the shop I worked at offered. Eventually in 2020, a lady came in and she wanted us to preserve the flowers from her 6-year-old daughter's funeral. And I literally could not say no. And so that was kind of like what launched the business. She was my very first client. So I started Preserved Petals. And what we do is we take sentimental flowers that would otherwise just go to waste. We preserve them, we put them in shadow boxes, and then they keep looking fresh for years to come. All those in those boxes right there are over 3 years old. And then, okay, so after our first customer, we automatically, I don't want to say, unintentionally generated over $20,000 in revenue. And that, when I say unintentionally, I say that because absolutely no marketing. We didn't have any online presence. There was no social media, no website, nothing. It was just people coming to us out of desperation because the flower shop I worked at was called Dried Flowers Forever. Very misleading. Anyway, so basically what we do, this is our process. You place your order, you drop off your flowers, then in about a month, you'll be able to pick them up. Right now, we're trying to establish ourselves in the DC area. And so we're only offering 3 products right now, and we're trying to work with venues and florists from around this area. And we're only doing drop off to make sure that we can ensure quality. But eventually we want to build out and we want to work with different flower distributors to offer shipping. We want to expand our products to include, DIY flower kits and also just other products.
Can you talk about your team?
Yes, so my team, I actually work with Georgetown Ventures. They're absolutely amazing. I see them up there. But besides that, it really is just me. I consider all my mentors, for instance, all the people that helped me out during Summer Launch Incubator, also part of my team. But when it comes down to actually building the products, that's all me.
Who do you think are your primary customers for this?
Yes, so when I was doing this where I'm from, in Madison, Wisconsin, the majority of our customers were people that, had just gotten married. They want to take their special event flowers and save them. So those were if you look at just the number of customers, that's what we look at in terms of number. When you look at the size of the order, it was actually people that were saving flowers from funerals. For instance, they would come back then, they'd order one shadow box and they're like, oh my gosh, I need one for grandma. I need one for my daughter too. And so it would just multiply. So when you look at the amount of revenue, it's funerals.
What would you do with the investment?
So we want to use the investment to create samples. Right now, I have these photos on the website, which while they're beautiful, they're not really, they don't look highly professional when you put them all next to each other. So we want to create samples. And we've also had florists in the area show interest in partnering with us. And so we want to show them our product in person. But since when we create these, we give them back to the people right away. We don't have that. And so we want to use these funds to buy flowers so that we can create these here in DC.
Thank you, Preserve Petal. Next up, academic fellowships. I'd like to talk to you about a couple of opportunities. First, there's a deadline coming up tomorrow to apply to be a biotech fellow, to join the biotech fellowship. This is done in partnership with the AIM High Accelerator Fund and Georgetown Entrepreneurship. Students receive a $4,500 stipend, and the focus of the fellowship is on learning about the intersection of entrepreneurship and healthcare, particularly oncology, by doing diligence on startup investments in the biotech space. You can scan the QR code for this fellowship along with both our entrepreneurship minor and fellowship for students outside of the business school. Definitely not just for students in the business school. And next up, we have Shonda. Procure. Sorry. Shonda's up next. You'll have to wait.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel. I'm a third-year medical student at Georgetown.
Hi everyone, I'm Barsha. I'm also a medical student at Georgetown, also doing my MBA here at McDonough.
Hi, my name is Blake Tyrone, and I'm a fourth-year medical student here at Georgetown. I'd like you all to think about Stephen, a 54-year-old businessman living and working here in the DC area. He's been on the transplant list for 6 months now, and finally he got the call. An organ match has been found. However, Stephen's new heart is located in Cleveland, Ohio. In order for Stephen to get his new heart, a complicated process known as organ procurement must take place. This process involves transplant coordinators, nurses, surgeons, trainees, ambulance drivers, helicopter pilots, and several other important team members to function correctly.
Believe it or not, this convoluted process relies on only phone calls and text messaging for communication. This outdated method is not optimal for such a time-sensitive process that must take place in under 4 hours. Failures of coordination during the procurement process can result in delays in surgery and increased post-operative complications, something our patient Stephen and his healthcare team would prefer to avoid.
Thankfully, Procure can make this entire process more efficient by allowing each team member to stay informed about the entire process. So Procure is a mobile app designed to seamlessly connect all parties involved by providing real-time status updates, accurate organ location and tracking on the map, smoother communication, and displaying the pertinent information for each team member, all that at their fingertips. Procure is not just an app, it's a commitment. It's a commitment to countless lives, including Stephen's, who are waiting for a transplant. It's where compassion and technology meets. So judges, join us in making every organ's journey a story of success and hope. We are Procure. Let's transform transplant one heartbeat at a time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic problem to solve. How do you get rid of the red tape of transport and releasing from the hospital and all that?
Sure. So a lot of this stuff is actually managed by what's called an OPO, an organ procurement organization, and they have transplant coordinators, like I mentioned, who currently put a lot of these things together and tie them together. But like we were mentioning, this can have like a lot of steps along the way, including calling all the different people and finding contractors and all that sort of thing. So the way that the Procure can help this issue, in particular, we could sell to an organ procurement organization or to a hospital, whoever, you know, it's dependent on the organization that's running it because it varies from institution to institution. But essentially, our app allows whoever's coordinating this transplant to tie everything together in an easier way.
And I'd like to add that just this past Friday, President Biden signed into legislation a law that increases funding for companies within the organ procurement space. So definitely timing is optimal in terms of support for market entry and overcoming this red tape.
How does that?
Sorry. Just as a related question, who's your customer?
So along what I was saying, so individual hospitals are sort of where we're starting out now. Currently, we're working with people at Washington Hospital Center, and then as we're all students at Georgetown, we have contacts here as well. And then beyond that, we can expand to healthcare systems such as MedStar, and then beyond that, even individual OPO companies. And then as far as like UNOS, for example, that's sort of long-term idea to get into something like UNOS, but as Varsha had mentioned, with this new legislation, new competitors to UNOS, for example, will start to emerge, and those could be potential new customers beyond then.
But it's the hospital level that they would pay for your service.
Correct, and as I alluded to before, individual hospitals and health systems sort of handle this in different ways, so it's very dependent on the specific customer.
All right, thank you, Procure. Next up, did I mention how great the newsletter is? Y'all should all subscribe right here. And yeah, newsletter's right there. So yeah. Next up, Shonda.
My name is Dumi. I'm a Georgetown MBA and I come from Zimbabwe. I also started a podcast called Zimbabwean Voices where I interviewed a whole range of community change makers from where I come from. But despite finding it so fulfilling, it was incredibly difficult to make, and it sparked my interest to do some research. In doing my research, I discovered that on the demand side, the podcast industry is a $14 billion market growing at 32% a year. But on the supply side, I'd learned that 75% of people that actually start a podcast don't get past 3 to 5 episodes for the 4 main reasons. It takes 4 to 6 hours to edit and market a podcast. It takes $100 to $400 to outsource these editing tasks. And then even once outsourced, it takes 3 to 5 days to get your recording back. To add further insult to injury, existing solutions look like that, which are way too technical for the average person to use. So as a solution, we created Shanda, and here's how it works. The user finishes the interview and uploads their file to Shanda and waits for a few seconds. Thereafter, just with the help of AI, just like editing a Word document, the user can then cut the words, which then in turn edit the audio on the back end. They can download their file and upload it to Spotify seamlessly. Shanda also helps them auto-generate things like newsletters, social media captions, and more, saving the user time. By using a freemium-based revenue model for $20 per month, Shanda aims to target Zoom users as a customer acquisition strategy. Our big dream is to really empower people like Andrea and Bella here, venture capitalists or policy analysts that use interviews as a means of shining lights on people in their community. Our goal and our team is comprised of technical talent from within the Georgetown community to help us get this product off the map. Finally, our aim is to use the funding from Rocket Pitch to finish our final key features so we can launch Shanda and empower these people. Thank you.
Why Zoom users?
In our opinion, Zoom is the biggest recording company in the world. And for us to be successful, we need inputs from a mass volume of people. And when you do a customer discovery and research, myself included, most people start their podcasts actually on Zoom. So if we can target Zoom as a go-to-market channel and integrate seamlessly with that, we're immediately open to a wide channel of users. And the goal is simplifying the step from Zoom to Spotify with our solution.
I love that you're automating it. Are you also reducing sound, background feedback quality of the audio too?
Great question. So when we speak to our users, the first key features are two things they want. They first want to cut the audio first and upload the intro and outro to have a branded feel. Secondly, I think we're going to launch that first. Thereafter, we'll then focus on audio quality. But initially, that was the assumption. But users said, no, cut first, intro and outro. Then once we launch off the feedback they give, then we'll add the features like audio enhancement. So it's all user-based product shipment.
How easy would it be for AI to do this?
That's a great question. So this is powered by AI. So it's not that, in terms of like some of the outputs from a text output, that's quite straightforward. What's a little bit more complicated is the backend editing component. So AI helps us get the words, but the splicing, and that's a little bit more technical to do. So the way in which we think will be a bit different, because realistically, everyone and their grandmother is going to have an AI model, right? We all have AI models, but we are very focused on interviews as the format type and the combination of features for the user that wants to do interviews. That combination isn't being done of transcripts, notes, newsletters, splicing of text to audio. That isn't being done. So the combination of features is what we think will do better than anyone else. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shonda. Have an idea you want to brainstorm? Talk to an EIR. A couple of them are right here. EIR support the mission of Georgetown Entrepreneurship by providing expertise, advice, mentoring, coaching, and other assistance for students, faculty, alumni, and administrators on campus or at the Georgetown Venture Lab throughout the semester. We also host Chalk Talks every Tuesday in room 310 in the Hariri building right here. These weekly informal walk-in entrepreneurship clinics are open to all Georgetown students. Participants can speak with our entrepreneurs and residents, with each other, and about their business ideas, career choices, and other topics. Students and alumni interested in starting a business or their own venture are highly recommended to attend. Next up, we have Soul Step.
Greetings, finalists, judges, supporters of Entrepalooza 2023. Soul Step is here to revolutionize fitness and musculoskeletal health. Quick show of hands, how many people have ever been affected by foot pain? This is actually really exciting. And I'm not excited by your pain. I'm excited by what Soul Step can bring to you. Data shows and reflects that up to 42% of adults experience some level and is affected by some level of foot pain. And what we're going to do is show you a technology that is going to be able to help you mitigate those concerns of experiencing foot pains that you're not detecting that will lead to other injuries.
So to get started, in the course of my day job, I discovered a pretty staggering fact. Up to 5% of male recruits and 20% of female recruits will experience a stress fracture in basic training, in basic military training. That really blew my mind. That's just stress fractures. That's not plantar fasciitis or adult acquired flat feet or many of the other more typical musculoskeletal injuries that you might see. And simultaneously, we're suffering from the worst recruiting crisis of all time in the military. So we can ill afford to lose all these recruits before their careers even get started, and we can ill afford all the healthcare costs that go along with that.
So this is where Soul Step steps in. Our technology, our Soul inserts are embedded with sensors that accurately detect gait health, the impact that you're putting on the floor with each stride. And in real time, we'll be able to provide you that data and connect that to HCPs to help you understand. Now, we want to help the world one step at a time, but we have a unique rollout strategy that we'll talk about to show you how we're going to scale this.
We want to put those insoles in the boots of every basic training soldier coming through the Army. And the idea there is to use our proprietary software to gather enormous amounts of data about their individuals' gaits and connect that with problems that they develop later on. So these musculoskeletal injuries, we can get out in front of them, identify them, and intervene before the point of injury.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourselves?
Omar Wilson, Executive MBA.
James Hart, Executive MBA.
Mika Rav, Executive MBA.
Your background.
So I have over 10 years in healthcare sales, from pharmaceuticals to med device. I have a global footprint. I manage a professional network within I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Boston Scientific, a professional network of over 5,000 employees from everywhere from India all the way to Brazil and a lot of places in between. So I do a lot of work with sales, marketing, logistics, and operations.
I'm a defense policy advisor in the U.S. Senate. I spent 12 years on active duty in the Army as a helicopter pilot, and also a policy advisor in the Senate in that role.
I'm a senior embryologist at Shady Grove Fertility, and in my spare time, I'm an amateur bodybuilder.
And a musician, and a very talented musician.
So you've shared how you're going to detect challenges, but you haven't shared what you're going to do about them or how you're going to monetize this. Can you answer some of that?
Yeah, sure. So to monetize it, first there's a capital component of this, right? Where we are going to be selling the inserts, and then there's going to be a subscription service that we'll be able to we'll be monitoring it with our engineers, our partners, healthcare professionals, et cetera, to understand how to give real-time feedback. One of the things that this will be able to detect is like if you're overpronated or if you're underpronated, right? If you're putting too much ground impact every single time that you walk. And so we'll be able to reach out to every single person who owns a SolStep insert and say, hey, you're overpronated, you have high arches, you have low arches. We'll be able to supply you, or we recommend some sole support for you. If you are, if your impact is too hard, we'll be able to connect you with HCPs in your area, healthcare professionals in your area, and be able to connect you with either orthopedic surgeons or orthopedists and understand how can we alter the movement, how can we alter your gait health so that you can prevent any future injuries.
Thanks, SolStep. Next up. All right. Georgetown Entrepreneurship continues to create space for existing and aspiring entrepreneurs to explore their passions and translate ideas into new ventures, solving the toughest challenges and leaving the world in a better place than they found it. Scan to learn more about opportunities in healthcare. All right. Next up, we have Unstuck.
OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, is not cleaning, and it is not just about being organized. It is a highly misunderstood and undertreated disorder that affects 80 million sufferers out there. The WHO ranks OCD as the 10th most debilitating disorder out of all mental and physical conditions. And getting treatment is its own challenge because there are very few OCD therapists out there, and the ones that do specialize in OCD cost more than $200 an hour. And even if you are in therapy, on meds, and have done all the self-help stuff, there's no in-the-moment support when you're caught in a cycle. And I know all of this because I've suffered from OCD for the past 8 years, every single day of my life. That's why we built Unstuck, an app that gives 100% personalized, evidence-based OCD therapy exercises for users when they're caught in a cycle. Specifically, it helps users identify thoughts, sit with the anxiety, and resist negative compulsive behavior. The long-term goal of this is not just to give momentary relief, but to help users actually teach themselves those coping skills so then they don't need the app. So you could say developed to be deleted, if you will. To be clear though, it is not a chat bot and is not meant to replace therapy. It's a tool to help the 80 million sufferers out there who can't afford therapy or need support in between sessions. We're currently working with the leading OCD clinics of the nation, such as the Stanford OCD Clinic, to refine and optimize this model. And there's nothing similar out there right now because no tech company wants to touch a niche disorder like OCD with a 10-foot pole. In terms of traction, we launched our beta 1 month ago, and we're at 600 beta users right now with 2,000 entries recorded. And we just slapped on a paywall about a week ago, and we have 12 paying users without really any marketing or any pizzazz on the product itself. The most We have, okay. That was.
Who's your target customer? Because for the people who have OCD and recognize it as a problem, they're probably already getting treatment. And the people who have OCD but don't think it's a problem will probably not find a solution to the problem.
So I would say actually all three of those. I know you mentioned two. It's people with OCD in treatment, people with OCD not in treatment, and the people who actually are not diagnosed yet. So it actually addresses all three. And we've done like 30, 40 customer interviews, and we have a pretty good split between all three of those.
How do you get customers engaged then?
Acquiring customers or keeping using the app?
Acquiring customers.
Right now, it's all organic Reddit posts because my background is in organic growth. All of it is through Reddit because before I was being cut off is that there is nothing out there like this, and to that point is we're literally getting 6, 7 people who want to work for free because the product has helped them so much and they believe in the mission. So there's nothing out there like this yet.
If you don't know if you have OCD, how are you helping people self-assess?
One more time.
How are you helping people who don't know that they have OCD self-assess so they want to use the app?
So yeah, so that's not our target market. Our target market, to reiterate, is people who are not diagnosed officially but know they have OCD. So people who don't know, we have a very basic questionnaire, and we're going to build it out eventually when we work with more clinicians. But right now is we can't touch that. Although in the long term, we do plan on expanding this to other disorders because there's just a huge market within the niche mental health fingertips market.
Have you thought about other revenue sources? Like there's been some recent changes legislative that allow for remote patient monitoring that this kind of app could segue into pretty nicely.
Absolutely, yeah. So the couple therapists we talked to, they are interested in using this as a as a tool they give to their patients. The only issue right now is we have to be HIPAA compliant if we're dealing with sending information to therapists. So that's 5-6 months down the line once we really validate this within the individual patients, which the money will help to prove.
Not sure what you're doing tonight. Well, I do. I'll be glued to my screen to watch fellow Hoyapreneur alum Doug Boughton, founder of Halo Top, and a supporter of an advisory member of Georgetown Entrepreneurship. He will be featured on Shark Tank tomorrow night at 8 p.m. to pitch his new venture, Gatsby Chocolate. You don't want to miss it. All right, up next, we have Wallet Walk.
If I do that 20 more times, I'll be having a chance that Wallet Walk will give me an iPhone for free. So what's the problem? Everyone walks here? Can I get a show of hands? Who walks here? Okay, a lot of gifts for you all. Problem is you're walking and no one's rewarding you for that. This is where we come in. But before I talk about that, the solution out there are rewarding apps that just project the health app from the App Store, for example, to project your steps and then convert that to discount. What we do is that we offer gamification in our application where you can have leadership boards and you can have your challenges and competition with more fellow wallet walkers. And then how it works is that your steps will be converted into coins, and then you use those coins to either win competitions like raffles or contests, or just purchase any discounts from local brands that you have. Now, we currently operate in the United Arab Emirates, and that's where I am from. And we expanded to Saudi Arabia to test for 1 year. And we're a team of 3 people. One person is in South Korea, and the other person is based in the Middle East. And hopefully we can expand in all of the MENA region. And the goal is for everyone, and to spread awareness for everyone to walk and actually reward them for the steps and create this environment of walking, whether it's indoors or outdoors. And our future plan is to partner with hotspot places like shopping malls or outdoor walking areas and parks for people to actually share that. And hopefully the gamification will keep them loyal to us. And we currently have 20,000 active users, 60,000 users in total. And we hope for more mentoring and more advice on our application. Thank you.
What's your thoughts on monetization?
So we have three revenue streams that we think of. One is ad-based revenue. And to prevent that for users, they can have a premium subscription to the application. And the third one is affiliate links with those personal relationships that we have with the original existing brands. So if you were to purchase from one brand with an amount, we will get a % of that transaction.
How do you compete with Sweatcoin, who does essentially the same thing?
Sweatcoin does not exist in the Middle East yet, not in the UAE. So we want to expand it over there. And we partner with businesses directly. We don't use like a database of subscription-based affiliate link websites. So we actually go into the business and create this relationship. So it can go two ways.
Have you thought about partnering with small businesses to create more local revenue for businesses, get people walking locally, get out locally, and maybe less on the big brands? I don't know if Sweatcoin does more big brand stuff or how that works. I've seen it. But how might you expand here differently?
Yes, so in order to get the audience that we want, which are the local audience, we actually approach those local businesses and we offer them an opportunity for us to present their business, whether it's a startup or like ongoing in our application, and to send people there and also to get their audience on our application as well. Yeah.
I recognize the answer might be we don't actually care, but how do you make sure people are actually walking? Because my brain just goes to those videos of the, dogs with a little Fitbit on them and whatnot. Just kind of shaking it.
So if I understand your question is how do we make people start walking?
Yeah, functionally, if I'm giving you money for whatever reason to help promote walking and people aren't walking, I'm going to be not so happy. Or do the customers not care? It's just about the eyeballs.
How do you prevent cheating?
Oh, okay. So like the washing machine thing, and then yeah.
My translator.
Sorry for that. Yeah. We haven't thought about that yet. I guess we didn't see that coming, but because that's all we can monitor.
If you're not in the US, that's probably right.
Maybe that's why. Not yet. GPS. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Now, if you want to stay engaged with Georgetown Entrepreneurship after Rocket Pitch, you can follow us on these channels. Join our Slack to get up-to-date news. That's all right here. Feel free to grab a picture. Okay. Next up, it's time for y'all to get involved. So the People's Choice Award, anyone can text 385-526-5754 with their vote. Please text the number associated with your favorite pitch, not the name, just the number. And we'll be back in a couple of minutes after you've cast your votes. So get voting. My last chance to vote for the $500 People's Choice. Last chance. Okay.
And while we're tallying up our winners, we're going to introduce some of our student clubs, orgs, and our newest president of the Entrepreneurship Club.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Connery, and I'm the president of the new Georgetown Entrepreneurship Club. We are very excited to announce the launch of our club today at Entrepalooza. The purpose of our club is to build community among undergraduate Georgetown students interested in entrepreneurship. So our signature event will be Founder Fridays. It's going to serve as co-working hours for student founders. So that will begin October 6th. And then we have our official launch event on Tuesday, October 10th at the Entrepreneurship House. So make sure to RSVP at our Eventbrite link, which will be sent in the Georgetown Entrepreneurship newsletter. And if you are interested in joining our new club, scan this QR code to fill out our intake form. We have a lot of fun events coming up, including speaker series, and we would love for you all to join us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Georgetown Student Capital Partners. We're an undergraduate club focused on private markets, notably VC and PE. It's a 2-semester program where the first semester you go through an educational program, you meet twice a week, you do study hours, just a good learning experience. And the second semester is where you work hands-on with client firms in the DC area.
Hey everyone, Carter Calloway here. I'm one of the co-presidents of the Georgetown MBA Entrepreneurship and VC Venture Capital Club, which despite the name is open to all MSB grad students. And our goal is to promote learning and education for all of our members and expose them to the opportunities of careers in both startups and the VC community. Thank you. We're also having our main career day tomorrow. It'll be in this building up on the 4th floor. If anyone is around for that too. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Reed Ulick. I am the co-founder and president of Hoya Developers. We are a new student organization on campus comprised of undergraduate computer science students. And really what we do is twofold. The first is to partner with Georgetown startups and companies to help take their ideas off the ground by building websites, building MVPs, building services that they need. And by doing this, we're providing our undergraduate computer science population with this valuable pre-professional experience and really embracing a culture of learning by doing and providing a lot of value to our startups and clients by having these deliverables over the course of a semester-long partnership. And so if this sounds like something that you're interested in working with us on, we're going to be tabling outside after this event where we can come up and talk to you about our spring 2024 client process. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks for having me. My name is Michael. I'm a senior in the college studying econ and physics. I'm the CEO of Georgetown Ventures. Georgetown Ventures is Georgetown's student-run startup accelerator. Each semester, we run a 10-week intensive startup program that launches and scales startups founded in the Georgetown community. We're a team of about 70 undergraduate students that work with the founders very closely in the capacity of strategic, creative, and technical services. And at the culmination of our program, we have our demo day where they'll have the chance to present to all of you. And that'll be on November 14th. If you want to see Will MC again, come out for that. We'd love to see you there. If you're one of the startups that pitched tonight or really any student interested in entrepreneurship, I would love to meet you. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much from all of our different student orgs. As Reed mentioned, we're also going to have a reception and a student fair with both our programs and these organizations outside to give you a bit more information and to get to talk to you and give you more details on future events and opportunities. So with that, we have information on our winners coming up.
While we're waiting, I'll give you all another chance to follow us on all of our social media. We need the followers. This is Lily's job. She runs the Instagram and she's begging for followers. So everyone should go follow her. TikTok too. Alex does the TikTok. Really good.
All right. We got the winners are okay. First of all, a big thank you to our judging panel. You guys asked some great questions. Appreciate you guys being here. How about Will Hanson? Way to go, Will. Take a bow. Take a bow. All right. Very much. I also want to give a big shout out to Aveline and Ben and Jacob, the three members who with me are our full-time team here at Georgetown Entrepreneurship and make everything happen. So, all right. The winners are, by the way, great job. I enjoyed every one of those pitches. I think you guys all have great potential here. So, and I guess this is the time when I have to say whether you win or not tonight, it doesn't mean whether you're going to be a successful entrepreneur or not. Every one of you has the ability to access our resources, our coaches, our mentors, our other programs, and all the kind of stuff to help student entrepreneurs. So whether you get a check or not, you're awesome. Okay, first check for $500. The People's Choice Award goes to Discover. All right. My signature doesn't look very good here. We got to get a better version of that. Right. That's good. You guys hang out, stay here. All right. Next up, the Common Good Entrepreneurship Award for $1,000 goes to Procure. Ooh. All right, next up, a $1,000 prize. This is the Eisenberg Prize for first generation college student entrepreneurs. Goes to Soul Step. And another big thank you to the Eisenbergs for supporting this prize. So our second place award for $750 goes to Cultivate. There we go. Nice. I think some nice spore capital. Top prize, $1,500. The champion of this year's fall 2023 rocket pitch competition goes to Shonda. All right. Awesome. So I'd like to, at this point, invite all of the teams that pitched to come on down. Our judges, join us here. We're going to have a big photo. And everybody, we want you all to go to our reception, which is in the big tent right outside on the ground floor. So there's food and drinks there. There are posters and tables describing a bunch of our programs. So we're going to take a big photo, but everybody can go on to the reception and we will all join you there in just a minute. Thanks, everybody. All right.